From America's farm to Fort Capitol and some of the richest farmland in the world, it's time for What's in Season with Michael Marks, sponsored by Meals on Wheels Sacramento County and powered by SMUD.
Welcome to the July episode of What's in Season with Michael Marks. July is National Blueberry Month. What should I talk about? Well, I have it on. If I forget what I'm talking about, just look at my shirt. We're talking blueberries today. So much fun with blueberries. And of course, I want to talk to a blueberry farmer. So we're going to head out to a farmer's market and we're going to chat with a blueberry farmer as well. Mandy Bottoms is in the house from Ag in the Classroom, and we're going to be talking about pH levels of blueberries. Blueberries can actually tell you what the pH is of something. So that's going to be a fun little experiment. Chelsea Azarkan is making a house call with us today, and she's talking about a lot of people travel in July, travel all around. Well, let's talk about eating healthy when you're traveling. So that will be fun. And of course, Chef Julio is with us today. Blueberry mousse. Oh my goodness. Let's talk blueberries. Come on over. Blueberries are about 13,000 years old here in North America. In fact, it is one of 4 fruits that are truly native to North America. There's only 4 fruits truly native. The Concord grape, the cranberry, the crabapple, and blueberries. Up until 1916, all blueberries in America were wild blueberries. Here's what happened. In 1908, Dr. Frederick Coville from the USDA, one of the most famous botanists at USDA, he was trying to think, can we actually cultivate blueberries, not just have them wild blueberries? So he started working with them. And then there was a cranberry farmer in New Jersey. Her name was Elizabeth White. The two of them got together and they said, let's work together in learning how to cultivate, how to plant blueberries, and how to come up with new varieties of blueberries. So they started working together in 1911, finally 1916. So get this. Up until 1916, every blueberry anybody ate was a wild blueberry, right? 1916, they came up with the very first cultivated blueberries. And what they also started doing, making them larger, because the early wild blueberries, oh my goodness, they were so tiny. Now, the United States, of course, we are #1 in blueberry production. Let me give you a couple numbers. Can you follow my numbers here? About 30 years ago, the United States produced about 100 million pounds of blueberries, cultivated and wild. Most of the wild came from Maine, up in the Northeast. Today, we are closing in, get this, 800 million pounds of blueberries in the United States. We are going to be closing in the next decade on 1 billion pounds of blueberries. Back in 2024, blueberry crop accounted for about $1.5 billion in revenue. That's a lot of blueberries. California has really become a major supplier of blueberries. We started growing them in the Sacramento region, and then most of them went down to the San Joaquin Valley, and they started planting them down there. Now, #1 and #2 are Washington and Oregon. They grow the most blueberries, followed by Georgia, New Jersey, the Carolinas, and then, of course, Michigan is way up there, and California is right in there. We grow about 70 million pounds of blueberries right here in California, from about 7,000 acres. The blueberry farmers in the San Joaquin Valley, it was so funny. I went down to visit them when they started really producing. And you have to have bees to pollinate the fields, right? So in the San Joaquin Valley, they have tent hoops over all of the rows of blueberries. These big tent hoops over every row. Why did they do that? Because we want an early production, so it keeps us out of the rain, out of the wind, if there's any hail, so it protects the blueberries. So you have to pollinate them. So they put beehives at the end of each row of the blueberries. They came to find out that they weren't pollinating very well. Here's how they found out. They actually had a person that would take the blueberries from each row of blueberries, and this person, their job was to cut the blueberries in half. And then their job was to count the number of seeds in that blueberry. The more seeds you have in a blueberry, the more pollination by the bees. The fewer seeds had less pollination. So they knew which tent rows needed more pollination, but they had plenty of beehives. So they brought in a bee specialist from Fresno State University. And as soon as he looked, he knew exactly what the problem was. Here's the problem. See, the bees go into the tunnel. They don't know how to get out of the tunnel. So they end up spending the rest of their time trying to figure out how to get out of the tunnel. So the bee expert from Fresno State, he just put up some very colorful cloth at the end of each end of the tunnel. And so now the bees could just look for the colorful cloth, and now they knew exactly where to go. It's just fascinating. When you're getting your blueberries, the early season blueberries tend to be some of the largest varieties of blueberries. Those are the ones I freeze. Let's meet a blueberry farmer. So I'm going to catch up with Brian Hoover at the farmer's market. Talking about blueberries, did you see these gorgeous blueberries? Take another look at these gorgeous blueberries from Patrick's Garden up in Placerville area. Who's Patrick from Patrick's Garden?
Patrick was my father. He passed away about 9 years ago, so we've been running the show ever since then and doing great.
Your dad was known for his berries, not just blueberries, but all the other berries.
Yeah.
What got him into berries?
Just they're very delicious, and where we're at up in Apple Hill with the high elevation, you just get the flavors. That we could grow the unique varieties, like we can grow currants, we can grow all the kinds that, are kind of grown in different climates. So it's really good, and it's great for the markets to have a lot of different products offered to all the customers.
So Brian, when we talk specifically blueberries, how difficult is it to grow a blueberry? Because I know it needs special acidic soil and all of that. How do you deal with all that?
Oh, well, the acidity in the soil for your pH, it's pretty good up there. So we just use the right kind of fertilizer. We have that high elevation for the flavors. The biggest problem with us is the picking for the time. All the berries grow in the microclimate really well up there. And it's more for flavor. You get a lot more flavor, higher elevation you go. So they all grow really well up there. This is our second week with them, and we'll have them maybe hopefully until about, into July.
Wow. So you mentioned microclimates, nice, cool days, cold nights. What does that do to a blueberry?
The flavor. The flavor. You get more acidity. You just get a better outcome of a berry.
You also mentioned harvesting. You don't do it by machine. It's all by hand. Those little tiny blueberries, all by hand.
Everything is all picked by hand. It's sorted, and then it goes right to the market. So no machines, just human machines.
Do you prune a blueberry?
Oh yeah, we prune on and water and trellis, just like you do. There's the low bushes, there's high bushes. Most of the high bushes you need to trellis up so they don't fall over when they get all the fruit.
So are there different varieties of blueberries?
Oh, there's tons of different varieties, and just you got to find the right berry that works with your climate and your elevation and your soil.
So how did you find this particular blueberry? These are a big size blueberry. I love that.
Yeah, there's a lot of different sizes. You have your blue crop, you have your Dukes, you have your Chandler. There's just a lot of different varieties that come in through different times. So you try to start with the early, you try to find an early variety, you try to find a mid-season variety, you try to find a late variety so it extends your season.
What do you tell people to do with their blueberries?
Just eat them when they're fresh.
Eat them
when they're fresh. Smoothies, yogurt, a blueberry pie. Is really good. Blueberry milkshake if you want to treat yourself.
Oh, what's your favorite way of eating a blueberry?
I just pick them up by a handful, just fresh right off the plant.
Oh man, Brian from Patrick's Garden up in Placerville area with beautiful blueberries this time of year. Take a look at those gorgeous blueberries. Hey, coming up, don't go away. Mandy Bottoms from Ag in the Classroom is going to be here with us. Man, that was fun visiting with a farmer who grows blueberries. I love talking to farmers. They teach me so much. You know, one of the things they taught me, of course, when you're looking at your blueberries, see that little whitish bloom on it? It's called bloom. Plums have it, blueberries have it, that little whitish powder on it. That's called bloom. The more bloom on the blueberry, the fresher it is. If you see shiny blueberries, they've been around a while. Mandy Bottoms from Ag in the Classroom is with us today. pH. You're going to teach us a little science here.
Yeah, we're going to do some science using blueberries today. It's simple. You can do it at home or teachers can do it at school. So what you're going to do is you will take a small handful of blueberries and put them in a hot water safe container, and you'll cover them up with some boiling water, and then you let it sit for about 5 minutes. And what we are making is a pH indicator. Ooh. So there's something in the blueberries. It's an antioxidant called anthocyanin.
Very good.
And I get it right. And then
anthocyanin, 5-syllable word.
It's a big word. It's in a lot of those dark berries. And
yes,
what it does is if once you kind of pull the color out, it can be a pH indicator. So I've prepared some. This has been sitting for a little bit longer than 5 minutes. We're going to take it, and then we're going to use the bottom of this if you want to kind of muddle it with that. Yeah, we want to mush up. We want to get some of that juice out. They should be kind of soft by now. And then we'll use that juice to test the pH of lemons. While you're muddling, though, I will share, I brought a book with me today. It's called I Love Blueberries. And this is actually about some girls who decide to grow blueberries hydroponically.
Ooh.
So that means they're not using soil, they're using just a growing medium, and the water really is what delivers all the nutrients to the blueberries. So if you want to learn more about blueberries or growing things hydroponically, this is a great book to share with your family or your students. Okay, this looks great, very muddled. We're going to strain it out because we just want the liquid. Okay, so we got some liquid there. And then we need some lemon juice. So I'll go ahead and squeeze some lemon juice. Now it's interesting, I did this at home before I came with different blueberries, and mine was a different color than when I did it. Yeah, it was a bit darker. So I don't know if the ripeness of the blueberries relates to that or not. So we'll squeeze out some lemon juice. And then we're going to see what happens when we add. Now, I think everybody knows lemons are an acid. So this is what happens when you add some acid to the pH indicator. It's not as good. So did you see what happened to the color there?
It brightened up.
It really brightened up. And the more acid you add, the brighter it will get until it's red.
What does that tell me?
That tells you that the indicator is telling you that it's something that's very acidic. If we put something that was more basic, we wouldn't see a color change, or we'd see a different color change. Probably we wouldn't see much of one.
That's why farmers have to grow blueberries in very acidic soil.
They do.
The pH of the soil has to be at a certain level for them to grow a good crop of blueberries.
That's right.
There's a lot to it, my goodness.
There is a lot to it.
Well, this is a lot of fun.
And you can actually add honey to it and drink it as like a juice afterwards too.
Ooh,
So,
I like that idea too. Tell me a little bit about Ag in the Classroom.
Yes, Ag in the Classroom is a nonprofit foundation, and what we do is we provide free resources and programs and grants for teachers, but they're things you can use at home with your kids too. So we're at learnaboutag.org.
That is so cool. I know it's summertime, a lot of kids are out of school, but you can get a lot of stuff from your website and still do some teaching stuff over the summer.
Definitely.
Fun things like this.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for being with us. Hey, coming up, Dr. Chelsea Azarkan. How do you eat healthy when you're traveling? Dr. Chelsea has some ideas. Don't go away. Well, in July, there's a lot of families go on vacation, right?
Yeah.
I go to vacation in July. I know you and your family, you've traveled a lot. Italy, and what are some of the other worldwide places you've been to?
Switzerland, France, Germany, England. So
Yeah.
I've been a few places.
Yeah. So when you travel, I know you and your family love to eat healthy, and it's harder to eat healthy when you're out on the road, right?
It absolutely is. And you know, one of the things we don't think about is a lot of the foods that are available when we travel, they've got a lot of inflammatory ingredients, a lot of sodium, a lot of calories without nutrition. And that can actually worsen some of the symptoms that a lot of people feel when they travel anyway. So a lot of people will get swelling or acne or constipation. So if you're reaching for something healthier, it can not only be better for you, but help you feel better at the end of the day.
When you're at a restaurant, for example, and let's say you're in Italy or Switzerland, what do you look for on the menu that you know is going to be healthy?
Well, I'm looking for fresh, whole foods. So things, from the earth, simple ingredients, local. So those are, good tips you can use when you're eating out. The hard part for a lot of people is the actual getting to the destination. What are we going to eat during that time that's healthier for us? The other thing we want to think about with snacks is keeping our blood sugar stable. So just the stress of travel, good or bad, can cause our blood sugar to be unstable, and that can leave a lot of people not feeling well. So the first thing we want to think about for blood sugar stability is protein. I brought some easy things you can do for protein. I've got some organic string cheese. There's a lot of companies now making meat sticks with good quality meat, minimal sugars and additives, so you can grab some great kind of meat sticks as well. The other thing we want to think about is fiber. So fruits and vegetables are of course a great source of that. There's a couple ways you can do that. This is just 100% fruit, dried fruit leathers. Those are good for travel. You can actually get dehydrated vegetables now, so you can eat chips made out of kale or zucchini. You can bring fresh fruit. One thing I like to bring with fresh fruit a lot is you can get individual sized nut butter packets. So you've got the fruit and then you've got a little fat and a little bit of protein to go with it. It can go on a plane, it can go in a bag. So that's a great way to get our fruits and vegetables. And then we have popcorn. So everybody wants a fun little treat when we travel, right? You may not want to, sit and mindlessly eat this whole bowl, but a couple handfuls of popcorn can be a fun source of fiber, actually. And then the other thing I like about popcorn is you can put all kinds of fun seasonings on it. So we pop this on the stove. We've got a little pawpaw from last month, so you can sprinkle some of that on, make a great snack. And then finally we're gonna make a trail mix together.
Make your own.
Trail mix I like because you can personalize it. The nuts have some fat, they've got some protein, they're caloric, so they fill you up. So we have a different variety of nuts. I'll go ahead and kind of hand some of these to you so you can start choosing which nuts you want to put into it. We're going to mix it in this bowl here.
Well, if it's me, I'd choose them all.
We'll put them all and start putting them all in. We also have some dried fruit. So I have dried cherries. We could do dried blueberries would be great in here.
I love that.
You can make this with seeds. So I'll make it nut-free at home a lot with sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, and then I might add coconut flakes or different things that add crunch or texture. We're gonna have chocolate chips though today, because who doesn't want a little bit of chocolate? These are naturally sweetened with dates, so you can put a little bit of those in there.
Well, my wife would say a lot of those.
A lot of those, yeah. And then, if you have kids, the kids can do their own flavorings. So this is just a fun one to keep on hand, keep in a bag, and grab a handful of when you're hungry.
So without the chocolate, all of those will keep. You can make that at home, put it in your luggage, and it'll keep just fine.
Yeah.
Especially the dried fruit. You could put raisins, that dried fruit. You could take some dried peaches, cut them up, put them in there.
And it's nice to have on hand if you're going to a place where you don't know if you're going to be able to find a restaurant right away. I like to bring snacks with me that last the whole trip, and then I know I can have something healthy to eat if I'm in a pinch.
Love it. Dr. Chelsea, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
How can we get in touch with you?
You can visit my website, chelseaazarcon.com, and stop by my social media, Naturally Dr. Chelsea. I've got lots of fun resources there as well.
Okay, coming up, Chef Julio's in the house, and he's cooking up with some blueberries. Oh yeah, blueberry mousse. Don't go away. You're going to want to see this. Man, I wanted to thank Brian Hoover from Patrick's Garden for these gorgeous blueberries. This has been a lot of fun to work with blueberries. As a chef, Julio Camberos Jr., how do you like blueberries to cook with or to use?
I can use them in dessert. That's the obvious go-to. I like them raw, but I also like to finish them on a steak with some balsamic vinegar. Very nice reduction.
Okay, Chef
And
Julio,
healthy.
what are you making for us today?
Today we're going to do a blueberry mousse cake. So it's a recipe that I've done I looked at the recipe, the date on it, it's to 2000. So I've done it for a long time.
Wow.
So I just incorporate blueberry in this particular recipe. So what we've done is we've started with some boiled milk and let that heat up. And then I have an egg yolk and sugar mix on the side. Then what I do is I temper the hot milk into the egg yolk and sugar
hot
mix.
milk in there.
Just temper a little bit so you don't get too scrambly of eggs. And then when it's kind of, you go back and you cook it just slowly, just till it gets enough to coat the spoon. So much like that, okay?
When you're doing this part, this is not the time to get on Facebook or anything else.
No,
like
you don't want to walk away.
You got to stay right with it. Okay.
But us chefs do kind of live on the edge. So.
Okay.
Anyway, and then what I'm gonna do to stabilize, I'm gonna just add some gelatin to it while it's warm. Okay.
Okay.
And then you just want to totally dissolve that gelatin. I provided the recipe, so you can try this at home. It's very simple. You just follow the steps. Now, once this is totally dissolved, you cool it down, and then you already have whipped cream here on the side. So what I'll do is this is the blueberry puree that
you pureed that yourself?
I cooked down the blueberries. I just put a little sugar, and then I pureed them, and I strained them. But you don't have to strain it. If you want it to look rustic, have some skins, that's okay. So we're gonna put the blueberry puree into that. It's almost like a custard, I guess. And then we'll mix that around. And the blueberry purees are already cool, okay? So from here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fold this, I call it the base, into our whipped cream.
Oh.
Okay? So put it in here, and then we'll just move this around. And just gonna fold this till it's just totally incorporated.
Don't be too rough with it, right?
Well, you just don't want to beat it up because you already got air inside the whipped cream, so you don't want to like knock all the air out of it. But either way, you're gonna cool this mix down, and you're going to refrigerate it. It's going to take 3 or 4 hours for it to cool.
Okay.
I like to do it overnight. So what I've done for my presentation, you can do it at home, or you could just, once it's set, it's going to be pipeable. So you'll be able to put it in a bag, or just spoon it and eat it right out of the bowl if you like. But what I've done is, what I did was I make some chocolate sponge cake, and I put them in a little ring mold right here. You can see the cake there. And then what I do is to form it, and this is a little, we call acetate, and then I just made some whiskey syrup with sugar and whiskey, and then we're just gonna put that on the cake, and then we'll just pour some of this on the inside the mold, okay? And then what you're gonna wanna do there is refrigerate it or freeze it. Because of the presentation I'm doing today, I put them in the freezer because you don't want to handle them when they're soft. You'll put fingerprints on them. So when they're frozen, they're a lot easier to handle. So then once they're frozen, I pull it out and I actually make another little piece of acetate, which is this right here, and I make a little chocolate ribbon that I put on the bottom. Go ahead, peel it off.
Ready?
That's white and dark chocolate.
Look at that. You made that yourself.
I made that myself.
Oh my goodness.
And you could just see, kind of camouflages the cake around with just the chocolate ribbon. And it's very, light, delicate. Of course, the ribbon's very delicate as well. And then with that same puree, make a sauce, top it. You can get as fancy as you like or make it very simple.
I noticed this little coral. You made that coral yourself.
I made the
How
coral.
do you make the coral?
The coral you do with blueberry puree. Usually the recipe is water, oil, and flour. And a lot of the chefs, I see them, they put color. They put food color. So I like to put the natural color. So I use the blueberry puree, just thin it down to a little water, added the oil and the flour, and then you just fry it in the pan, and it just kind of splatters everywhere and becomes like that coral right there, and then it just dries out, and take it to the side, and pretty easy to handle, and it tastes like a blueberry.
And it's beautiful. Oh my goodness, that's gorgeous. Chef Julio, how can we get in contact with you?
You can contact me directly on my website at lavidafina.net. There's a contact information there. I do private chef events. I'm also a trainer and a nutrition coach, so there's a lot of other things that
I need some training, Chef.
we all do.
All right, well, thanks so much for being with us, Chef Julio Camberos Jr. What a great show we've had, and thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next time.